Welcome to the NCAA Women's Tournament, coming to you from Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas. The Mercado region's #1 seed, NC State, getting ready to take on North Carolina A&T, the champion of the MEAC. Later on, South Florida and Washington State will play. The winners will play on Tuesday. The bottom part of the bracket will get started tomorrow. And we welcome you to the NCAA tournament 714 days later. Here we go. LaShawna Robinson along with Pam Ward, and NC State back again, back-to-back ACC champions, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, North Carolina State got that #1 seed for the first time in program history, and very deserving. They have one of the best low post presence in the country, an All-American, Elisa Cunane, and a three-point attack from all 5 positions on the floor to balance their offense.
And they got here by beating Louisville in the ACC tournament final for the 2nd straight season. And Elisa Cunane was terrific. She was the most valuable player of the tournament. But Reina Perez, the grad transfer, with the game-winning bucket. Dana Evans' desperation 3 just a little bit off. And NC State takes it 58-56 to earn the #1 seed. And Cunane was absolutely terrific in that tournament.
Yeah, I thought Elisa Cunane played some of the best big stage basketball of her career in the ACC tournament with that 23 points per game, 9 rebounds, and shooting a blistering 63% from the field. But it was her late game heroics against Louisville that impressed me most.
And she is going to be taking on North Carolina A&T. Tip is just around the corner. We'll take a short break and come right back. Welcome to the Women's NCAA Championship presented by Capital One. Elisa Cunane and the ACC champ Wolfpack getting ready to take on North Carolina A&T out of the MEAC. Take a look now at our Capital One starting lineups. For the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, they start 3 transfers. Deja Winters, Jayla Jones-Pack went to Seton Hall, and Shannon Scott started her collegiate career at Georgia Tech. And I know Scott, LaChina, is a player that has impressed you.
Yeah, she's had a fantastic season, just a great athlete, plays hard on both ends of the floor.
And the NC State starting 5, already talked to you about Cunane and Perez. Jakia Brown-Turner, the only Wolfpack player who has started every game for the Pack, who come in riding an 8-game winning streak. And we are underway. NC State wearing the white uniforms, taking on the Aggies from North Carolina A&T. And the first shot is up, and it is good by Scott. Just talked about her, China, the grad transfer from Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and NC State started out in a man-to-man. They will play a sagging man. This isn't a strong three-point shooting team for North Carolina A&T. Other than Deja Winters, you have to identify her defensively.
Outside Perez. Now Cunane forced out towards the high post. North Carolina A&T known for their defense. Brown-Turner shoots from 3, and shooting from 3 has been a problem for the Pack in their last 4 games.
Yeah, NC State has not shot the ball particularly well to end the regular season into the ACC tournament. That was Wes Moore's biggest concern when we spoke to him. He said, we've got to get back on track in terms of hitting shots. They shot 23% from three-point range in their last 4 games.
The last 4 games, hit just 15 threes overall. The game before that, they hit 16 in 1 game against Pitt alone.
And in the half court for North Carolina A&T, this is where they struggle a little bit offensively. As we talk to Coach Robinson, you know, they are better in transition. They like to play offense off of their defense. So it'll be interesting to see where and how they get shots in the half court against NC State, who's an underrated defense, if you ask me.
I always ask you. And let's take a look at the transfers we talked about. Kennedy Boyd rounding out the 3 who start. Boyd started her career at North Carolina. They have been key for this team that won the MEAC for the 3rd time in 6 years.
And right away defensively, you see North Carolina A&T bringing 3 bodies to Elisa Cunane. They are going to pay a lot of attention to where she is, keep her foot in the paint, and really challenge everyone else to beat them, considering the fact that the Wolfpack has not shot the 3 well coming into the NCAA tournament.
Good look Cunane. Some All-American teams this year absolutely surrounded. Great defense that time to bottle her up. State doing a good job of getting back to stop the Aggie transition, which is, as China pointed out there, their most potent weapon on offense. That three rims out.
And Shannon Scott can hit the three. It's not what she is best at, I would say, but she does have three-point shooting ability at that power forward position.
Scott has only hit 5 all year. Way to stick with it. Jakia Brown-Turner gets a couple of offensive rebounds to put in the bucket. Second leading scorer behind Cunane on this team this season.
And good transition defense by NC State the last few times down the court, anticipating the quick shooting of the basketball. But what has been open for North Carolina A&T is that high post shot against the man.
Jones-Pack getting that bucket.
This is also what North Carolina A&T will do. They will pick up in their man, sometimes full court, they'll sometimes trap out of it. But you can see defensively, they are playing some zone, some man, but keeping the attention on Elisa Cunane, but that will help to balance the Wolfpack offense.
That's Kai Crutchfield hitting her first three since the Pittsburgh game 5 games ago. Had missed all 5 of them since, but boy, the Aggies coming out. Countering.
Impressed with their high post shooting, but it starts with the ball either getting inside or then getting a touch and causing the defense to collapse.
Scott, her 4th points, going underneath. Good defense as Kayla Jones got stopped, and then the tie-up with Cunane. Knocked out of bounds eventually, but Shannon Scott playing Cunane tough.
Let's go, Liz. Here we go.
Westmore, the ACC Coach of the Year this season, and on a list to be the National Coach of the Year, taking this program to new heights. Brown-Turner, I believe she's a lefty, moved to her left. Nice.
Yeah. Allowing Jakia Brown-Turner to get to her strong hand going left is going to cause your defense a lot of fits, and here she is in transition. Brown-Turner clicking on all cylinders offensively early in this one.
Brown-Turner, the sophomore from Oxon Hill, Maryland, now with 6 of NC State's 9 points. This is where the Aggies can get bogged down in their half court as the shot clock trickles away. Need to get a shot off. Desperation, 3, and it falls! Sean Kelly Darks, the freshman.
When you are a freshman playing in your first NCAA tournament, that's a way to get loose. Shot clock running down, you have got to make a play, and there is no fear with Sean Kelly Darks right here with the step back move over Perez. That is 5'8" over 5'4", so she definitely has the height advantage.
Head coach Sarah Robinson said Sean Kelly is the most dynamic freshman he's ever coached. And Terrell has done a terrific job in his 9th year in charge of the Aggies, taking them back to the tournament for the 3rd time in his tenure. They've won 3 MEAC tournaments in the last 6 years, beating Howard on a buzzer beater this season.
Oh man, Deja Winters was cold with the 3 from the corner.
Cunane, nice roll, count it. That is the first bucket for Cunane, only her 2nd shot.
And getting the ball inside is a big point of emphasis for Westmore, and defense does not get there in time or outside of the restricted area, though Cunane did catch it in the lower defensive box, but defense just was not set and in position on that play.
Walton fouled her, and Elisa completes the 3-point play as we're midway through the 1st quarter.
There are 9 new players on this North Carolina A&T roster, so their offense with all the COVID breaks has not got the opportunity to develop, but Terrell Robinson, he might have downplayed his half-court offense just a little bit. They've been pretty impressive from the mid-range early in this one.
Showing a lot of confidence, and here, when they make the bucket, they can set up the press. There's a foul on the other end of it. But North Carolina A&T, the 16 seed, hanging with the #1 seed so far.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Welcome back. About midway through the first quarter, and NC State, the top seed in the Mercado region, they're getting an up-close and personal look at Terrell Robinson's defensive team.
Yeah, North Carolina A&T has been exceptional on the defensive end. You see the national rankings for the Aggies, 3rd overall in field goal percentage defense, 4th in three-point field goal percentage defense. They force turnovers, like to get steals, and they have been playing this zone defense with an emphasis on taking away interior looks, forcing NC State to shoot the three. They have done well overall on the season, but not as of late.
Coming in cold from outside, but already gotten one from Kai Crutchfield in this game. Aggies have hit their last 4 shots. Make it 5! Another three-pointer. This one by Shayla Nelson coming off the bench.
Yeah, Shayla Nelson has had a knee issue this year that has kept her out of the lineup consistently, but she has started 7 games this season, 5'11", can get shots off, and you see the urgency now from North Carolina A&T's defense. This is what they want to do, disrupt.
Shot clock down to 5. Kayla Jones off the mark, but hunted down nicely by Brown Turner.
Boy, has Jakia Brown Turner saved North Carolina State on several possessions.
Fouls on number 23, Shayla Nelson, her first.
Cunane was just fouled by Nelson. Sending Elisa back to the free throw line. Gets there more often than anybody else on this team. Also the best free throw shooter on this team. Just 2 losses for NC State. They lost to Virginia Tech in overtime in one of the games that Elisa Cunane missed because she was out with COVID protocol. Then they lost to North Carolina. One of their arch rivals came back to avenge that loss. And 3-0 against top 5 teams. How about 2-0 against #1 teams, both on the road?
Well, Wes Moore was voted the ACC Coach of the Year by the coaches, and deservingly so, as North Carolina A&T with no problem breaking North Carolina State's press.
Aggies have now hit 6 straight shots. Nelson with a quick 5 points off the bench.
So 2-2-1 zone pressure. How many different defenses have we seen from North Carolina A&T so far? From man to zone presses to quarter court zone and man defenses. But Kai Crutchfield, or you can call her Clutchfield.
Wears number 3 on her jersey, and that's one of her specialties. Her second 3 of the afternoon puts NC State back on top.
And I stole that Clutchfield from someone. I don't know who it was. Might have been Beth Mowens. If I did, my bad.
Kayla Jones coming in to get the rebound. Jones, a terrific all-around player for the Wolfpack. Very quietly, is excellent in so many areas. That time Crutchfield with the miss. Rebound taken down by Kennedy Boyd, the North Carolina transfer. Outside shot off the mark, rebound. And it's going to be a foul against Nelson. Brown Turner rebounding well again.
Take a look here. North Carolina A&T moving the ball well against that zone press of North Carolina State. And Nelson off of the bench with the finish, who hit that outside shot just a moment ago, has been a bright spot. And that's been a game changer for the Aggies this season. When they can get contributions off of the bench, this team performs very well. When they have to really rely on their starters, it can be a long night.
And pardon me, no foul was called, just the ball out of bounds to the Aggies.
North Carolina A&T would like to get Deja Winters open for some shots, but Kai Crutchfield, who is one of the best defenders in the ACC, has been stuck to her like glue.
And Winters so far has only been able to take 2 shots and has missed them both.
Winters comes into this game after shooting 55% from 3 in the MEAC tournament.
Including the biggest shot of her career, most likely hitting a corner 3 with 3 seconds left to win it. Crutchfield, that's been her spot. Cunane is money from 3.
And that is what makes NC State's offense different from any other team in the country, is they have 5 starters who all shoot over 34% from long range with a minimum of 20 attempts. The only team in the NCAA tournament, only 2 in the country.
Kennedy Boyd counters with the 3.
Physical down low right now. This is a small lineup for North Carolina A&T, but they're still doubling Cunane. I like it when Elisa Cunane gets a little chippy.
Showing a little bit fire down there as she got fouled again. Tune in Thursday for the men's NIT quarterfinals when NC State takes on Colorado State at 7 Eastern Time on ESPN. Visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. All the Wolfpack fans watching this can watch the men play in the NIT.
It is a little chippy right now in this game down low, but the advantage has gone to the Wolfpack when it comes to rebounding. They have +3 right now in that category, but they've got 5 offensive rebounds for second chance points, and that's really why they have the lead in this game.
Lisa Cunane, 4 of 5 from the free throw line. She has taken all 5 free throws attempted by either team, and another drawn foul. Jada Boyd, the terrific 6th player, co-6th player of the year for NC State. Whistled for that one.
We mentioned that Shayla Nelson has missed some time with a knee, but very talented player. One thing Terrell Robinson said is, I like her energy since we've arrived in Texas. Says she had a couple of really good practices, and he said she's going to get a chance to prove herself, and he's put her in the game, and she's responded. And this is what you love about March, is you often see the best of the players on your team that have maybe had some struggles throughout the year.
Nelson, big contribution off the bench. She has 7 points. Cunane really locked in a battle on the block. Perez gets it to her. She's doubled immediately, and there were no white jerseys there to get the rebound. Shot clock's off. Just rimmed out.
Like to see the Aggies maybe hold that for the final shot of the quarter, but that's a quick one by Shannon Scott.
Turner with the ball in her hands. Boyd has to shoot it. Lisa Cunane with 9 points in the first quarter, but look at this, the #1 seed only up by 1 over the Aggies. Welcome back to San Marcos, where the #1 seed in the Mercado region, NC State, only leads the Aggies by 1. Let's go back to last week, the MEAC championship. Howard with the lead over the Aggies, and then Deja Winters with 3 seconds left hits the 3-pointer in the corner. The desperation shot doesn't fall for Howard. The Aggies claim their 3rd MEAC championship in the last 6 years and grab the automatic bid out of the MEAC.
Deja Winters was ice cold in the MEAC tournament from 3-point land, averaged 5 threes per game, shooting over 50% from long range. And what set that up was Ayanna Warren of Howard, who had an exceptional game, stepped to the free throw line and missed a couple, and that led the way for that shot, which was off of a broken play. That was not the way it was supposed to happen. It wasn't even supposed to be a 3-point shot. Speaking of threes, NC State can use some.
Yeah, and you go from one hero to the other. It was Perez's shot with time winding down that beat Louisville in the ACC championship game. So NC State, we talked about their woes from threes the last 4 games. So far, so good for them. And that is another bucket for Scott.
Just effortless athleticism from Shannon Scott. I mean, I covered her career when she was at Georgia Tech before she transferred. And she's in the top 5 in 11 statistical categories in the MEAC. I mean, number 3 in scoring, 5 in rebounding. She just is a 6-footer that can jump, has great instincts, and she's a fantastic student and athlete. Great in the classroom as well.
Foul after the miss. And you saw the graphic about the 3-point shooting today. NC State is 4 of 8 from distance. That foul on Brown Turner, her second, so Jakia heads to the bench. She's got 6 points so far.
The good thing for Wes Moore is he has Jada Boyd, number 5 in white, off of the bench. Co-6th player of the year in the ACC, who gets a steal there after Jakia Brown-Turner goes to the pine and couldn't get the finish.
Well, Kayla Jones is right there, and that's pretty much part of the Kayla Jones toolbox. She's able to trail and get the rebound and the putback.
Yeah, really good defense there in the paint by NC State. Boyd gets the steal, can't get it to go, but you're absolutely right. This is what the senior Kayla Jones does. She shows up in moments where the Wolfpack needs some momentum, whether it's offensively or defensively. She is a jack of all the trades and can do a little bit of everything on both ends of the floor.
Only player in the ACC to average 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. But look at the Aggies. They just counter right back. Jones-Pack with another one.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Jayla Jones-Pack has a nice face-up game, but she has hit it more consistently in this game than I've seen in any of the film I've watched of the Aggies.
Jones-Pack, 3 of 4 today. And speaking of watching film, we were preparing for this game as we take a look at her handiwork. You thought that the Aggies could hang around with the Wolfpack.
I did. You know, when you look at this roster and how they defend, how hard they play, I mean, anytime you play defense with as much intensity of the Aggies as the Aggies do, you give yourself a chance. The question was, could they hit enough shots? And they have so far in this one.
Hit yet another one from the outside. That's Demaya Tucker.
And notice is of the mid-range variety. They're just knocking down some tough twos.
Tucker made the MEAC all-rookie team this year. And another whistle. Charles Gonzalez, Talisa Green, and Ryan Durham, our officials this afternoon. Playing on Texas State's home floor in San Marcos. All the games in the San Antonio area. This is an hour or so away from San Antonio. Maine posting up, quickly draws the double, and at 6'5", she's able to turn and shoot.
And that is where Elisa Cunane's game has evolved over time, is her ability to play the physical game.
Already with 11 points. Another 3, and it hits the bottom of the net. Tucker again. Aggies have hit 11 of their last 15 shots, including some threes peppered in to keep this close, in fact, tie the game. It's a chancy pass, but it landed in a nice move to get free by Tucker, but she just couldn't finish. Maine again. No basket.
Basketball alternate for NC State number 41, and for A&T number 1.
It's the first NC State turnover today, and only one time in the history of this tournament has a number 1 beaten a number 16. Those of us of a certain age remember it well. It was Allison Feaster and Harvard beating Stanford. And NC State now trailing
Shannon Scott with an explosive move. That may look like an easy step through, but with her vertical, she can put it high off of the glass, over the defense.
And another NC State turnover. Scott again. Shannon Scott giving the Aggies a 4-point lead.
There is no fear in this North Carolina A&T team.
Three-point shot off the mark, and there literally was no one inside the three-point line for the Pack to get a possible miss. Kennedy Boyd inside, nice pass, terrific finish for Jones Pack.
Canane inside. Ball screen action for the Aggies, and it worked right at the rim.
A 9-0 Aggie run. They lead the top seed by 6. Team with a lot of transfers and experience, certainly players that have taken on some Power 5 schools, and they came in not intimidated in the least taking on the Pack. NC State has not played in 2 weeks. It's been a week for the Aggies since they played in the MEAC championship. Camille Hobby, number 41, is in for Cunane. Perez able to penetrate and score.
And as North Carolina A&T is in that denial man-to-man, it is great to have a point guard that has a scorer's mentality when needed, like Raina Perez. She was Player of the Year in the conference at Cal State Fullerton.
Big West Player of the Year, as you mentioned. She was a big-time scorer, led the Big West in scoring, just under 20 points a game. Right now, NC State trailing by 4.
The NCAA Women's Championship, presented by Capital One, is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Welcome back to San Marcos, where NC State is trailing the Aggies, North Carolina A&T. And look at this, LaChina Robinson, an Aggie team known for its defense, but they're hitting 60% of their shots.
Yeah, they're playing with a lot of confidence on the offensive end, hitting some tough twos, pulling up when they need to, and getting some help off of the bench with players like Shaylin Nelson. And this is what you hope if you're Terrell Robinson, is that in addition to your stout defense that has carried you through the season, that you would hit some shots and that your offense would show up in the NCAA tournament. It has so far.
This is the 10th time these two teams have played. NC State has won all of them, but Coach Robinson told us yesterday the last time they played, they simply did not hit their shots. He thought they played really well, but unlike today, where they've hit 60% of them, that's a 3-second violation and a turnover, where the Aggies are in the lead.
That's got to frustrate Wes Moore. You come out of a timeout there and have a turnover. And keep in mind, this North Carolina A&T team is one of the youngest in the country. They have 10 players that are 19 or younger. Their average age is 20, so not a lot of experience coming off of the bench. We mentioned the transfers, very nice lob pass on the move. I mean, what a first half here for Jones Pack, who laid that up.
Jones Pack hurting the Pack. She's in the double digits with 10. And they do have a lot of young players, but the transfers who start for them have been key, and they're gritty. There's the defense again. And another North Carolina State turnover. Defense and going to be NC State basketball. Lisa Cunane's been resting for a spell. She's coming back in.
Well, Pam, to your point about the transfers, the Division I transfers for North Carolina A&T, you have Seton Hall, where Deja Winters came from. She played in NIT, you know, and Jayla Jones-Pack, who also came from Seton Hall, had postseason experience. Shannon Scott had played in the postseason at Georgia Tech. So this helps to balance some of that inexperience for the Aggies, and they've just gelled very well as a team as this season has gone on.
And this is a club that only played 16 games. COVID interruptions throughout the year. They've won 4 straight games in 14 of their last 15, including beating Howard in the MEAC championship. That last foul on Tucker sends Boyd to the line. NC State's been terrific at the line, hitting 82% from the line in their last 4 games. Excuse me, that's Bryant who hit the free throws. We have 3 minutes to go in the first half. Eddie Boyd. Back over to Jones-Pack. That time she missed everything. Rebound taken down by Boyd. And back in the game, posted up.
Really nice job there by Raina Perez to create that opportunity for Boyd, who has had to step in. Jakia Brown-Turner with those 2 fouls. And that is one of the concerns, in my opinion, for NC State, is as you get into foul trouble and they have to get some depth off of their bench. You know what you're going to get from Boyd and Hobby, but how deep can they go from the guard position, whether it's Bryant or Demico or Wagner? How deep can they go in the guard spot?
Turnover. And then the fast break for the Pack. Boyd is hacked, and she'll head to the free throw line. Coming up next, the NCAA Women's Championship first round continues. 3 more 1-16 matchups. Mercer, South Carolina, followed by High Point and UConn. And then cap your night off with us. We get to call Utah Valley and Stanford. All games available on the ESPN app. Looking forward to seeing the Cardinal. We had them in the Pac-12 championship game when they just smushed UCLA. And best team I've seen so far this season.
Yeah, especially when Kiana Williams is playing at a high level, and she was outstanding, the most outstanding player in the Pac-12 tournament. She brings that energy to Texas. She's a San Antonio girl. It's going to be trouble for anyone that runs into Stanford, because she is no doubt one of the best point guards in the nation.
And how excited must she be to be going home. Block by Boyd.
Really like what we've seen from Jada Boyd, coming off of the bench, running in fast break opportunities, giving some toughness on the rebounds.
And then the 3 gets NC State the lead. Genesis Bryant, the freshman, capping off an 8-0 run.
Yeah, how about the bench for Westmore? Bryant coming in, making a difference in this game, doing some of the ball handling, knocking down that shot. Genesis Bryant has only hit 3 three-pointers this season. Good probe by Raina Perez, and on the spot up, forget the scouting report, Bryant lets it fly.
NC State fell behind in this game by 6 points, and now they have battled back and lead it by 2. Robinson, the head coach for this team. And you talked about the inexperience and the transfers for the Aggies, and then the very young bench. NC State, they only have 3 players, Crutchfield, Kumain, and Kayla Jones, who have played in the NCAA tournament for them. As they did not have a tournament last year. A lot of young players, the transfers they had not played in the tournament. So this is relatively new for most of the pack.
That would be an interesting storyline for the entire field, is we'll see some sophomores that maybe haven't played in the NCAA tournament. You know, and everyone missing that one season of postseason experience, and great defense there by NC State, really starting to respond on both ends here.
That's now 4 turnovers over the last 3 minutes and change for the Aggies after hanging on to it quite well to take the 6-point lead. Open, Crutchfield.
You essentially have 3 players in the backcourt right now for NC State that can play a little point guard and can ball handle. Perez off of the ball as Westmore may be looking for her to do a little bit more scoring with Bryan in the game.
Crutchfield's third 3 of the game, and now a steal. The Wolfpack, after falling behind, Crutchfield doing more damage. NC State trailing by as many as 6, but they finish on a 13-0 run. They lead it 44-37 at the half. Coming up in the studio, Maria, Rebecca, and Andy going to talk about Baylor, Tennessee. Got a test from Middle Tennessee State, and Caitlin Clark. She's a bad girl for Iowa. As we head you to Maria.
All right, thanks, Pam. You are watching In the Studio, presented by AT&T 5G, and it is a great day to watch women's basketball. Take a look at what we've had the pleasure of watching here in the studio. All 4 networks, live television, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, and ABC. We got games rocking and rolling. We've had 9 already tip-offs so far on day 1. And it's our pleasure to sit here and watch them all. Maria Taylor alongside Rebecca Lobo and Andy Landers. And the one we're in halftime of right now is incredible. The Aggies led it by as many as 6 against NC State, the #1 seed for the first time in program history. But the Aggies have to feel really good about their first half performance.
I also have the pleasure of watching Coach Landers for much of this game. What a delight that is for me. But A&T did a terrific job in that first half. And to pull an upset, what do you have to do? You have to be efficient from the floor. They did that. They shot 57%. Until the last couple of minutes, they did a great job limiting their turnovers. They were sharing the basketball, 10 assists in that game to find some easy shots in the paint. They are going to need to continue to do that. It's going to be really hard to shoot 57% again in the second half. They live on turning teams over, so that's what they're going to have to do to NC State in the second half.
Yeah, you look at this, you look at NC State, who we've watched many times. You don't see A&T very often, but you've seen NC State. They're doing what they normally do. They play solid defense. Cunane gets points inside. They sprinkle some points around. Very balanced basketball team. The thing you ask about before this game starts is A&T legit defensively? Because they're highly ranked in 2 or 3 categories. Yeah. They are. Yep. They've pressured North Carolina State out onto the floor as they've tried to start their offense. They've been disruptive. They've forced some turnovers. They've been impressive both defensively and offensively.
Well, I'm sure NC State hated the fact they had to go into halftime. They were on a 13-0 run that helped them get that lead, and obviously they're hoping to hang on to it in the second half. Right now, you are watching In the Studio, presented by AT&T 5G. In the Studio is presented by AT&T 5G.
Thank you, Maria Taylor. That's Elisa Cunane, her squad. NC State leading North Carolina A&T by only 7 at the half. Pam Ward along with LaChina Robinson. The winner of this game will play the winner of tonight's South Florida-Washington State game on Tuesday. Bottom half of the bracket, they will get things tipped off against each other tomorrow. LaChina, North Carolina, A&T known for its defense, and we saw it in the first half.
I really love what we saw from the Aggies. We heard Coach Landers talk about it. They were just there on the catch, making NC State uncomfortable. Didn't hold them to a low percentage necessarily, but I just thought their hustle, their ability to cover both the inside with Cunane and then getting out to the three-point line to at least contest was very impressive, disruptive in spots where they needed to be. I thought that they really aggravated the Wolfpack in some different stretches with their defense. And so this is what we expected to see from Terrell Robinson's team. But what they must do in the second half is take better care of the basketball. They gave NC State 15 points off of their turnovers. They also gave up 13 second chance points. So they've got to keep the Wolfpack off the offensive glass.
They did a good job of holding on to the ball in the first quarter. Different story in the second quarter, but still 57% from the floor. NC State riding that 13-0 run to take the 7-point lead after they trailed by 6. And the Aggies are hanging in this game, even though Deja Winters, their leading scorer, has 0 points.
Well, and she is a player that can really get it going from the three-point line. So I'm excited to see if they can get her involved and engaged. They will need to.
I want to welcome those of you who've been watching other basketball to Texas State in San Marcos, Texas. NC State, the #1 seed in the Mercado region, trailed by 6 points in the second quarter, but a 13-0 run to end the half has them up by 7. Pam Ward and LaChina Robinson joining you. The ACC champs taking on the MEAC champs.
This is what North Carolina A&T wants to do, pick up with their pressure, some 2-2-1 zone press. We've seen them change up their defenses in the half court from man to zone, really keeping the Wolfpack off of balance. Can they keep it going here in the third quarter?
Good work underneath. Jada Boyd, who came off the bench to give NC State a shot in the arm.
Boyd getting the start here in the third quarter instead of Jones.
And inside, and Boyd able to sneak in for 2 more.
I like the call by Westmore. Get some isolation on the inside for Boyd. She is tough to guard in the low block because of how mobile she is, how balanced she is, and how crafty she is of a finisher around the rim.
Dangerous time now for the Aggies. 17 straight points for the Pack, and Lisa Cunane comes up with the rebound. Cunane is on the floor. Go ahead, China.
If you're Terrell Robinson, Pam, the one thing you're saying to your team is don't go to the locker room and say, hey, we played really well against the #1 seed. You know, you don't even want them to think about it. You hope that they haven't come to grips with what's happened and they continue to compete.
Well, that one just rimmed out for Winters, who still has not hit a shot. Trying to get it to Cunane, who hits the deck. Lisa Cunane, ACC Tournament MVP, second-team All-American according to the Associated Press. Another terrific year in this, her junior season. Fouls on Jones Pack.
Really anchored NC State in the first half, and it was tough because all the attention of the Aggies defense was, of course, smothering Cunane, but she has found a way to be effective against physical defenses throughout the course of her career. Really grown in that area.
No foul called on that play. Now the Aggies, who like to run Scott.
Couldn't believe she was that wide open. She looked surprised.
That's why she took steps. Shannon Scott, terrific first half, led her team in scoring, rebounding, and assists. The grad transfer from Georgia Tech. That was 2 points that she gifted back to State. Nice pass, Cunane.
Yeah, really good read by Elisa Cunane. Gets the ball in the low block. The defense responds, as they have all game, by sending several defenders, and she finds the open player.
19 straight points now for the Pack. Timeout. Welcome back to the Women's NCAA Championship presented by Capital One in San Marcos, Texas. The #1 seed in the Mercado region, NC State, with a lead over North Carolina A&T. Pam Ward and LaChina Robinson joining you. Boy, the Aggies were up by 6 and now 19 straight points by the Wolfpack.
Yeah, North Carolina A&T looked impressive out of the gates, and they were shooting a better percentage from the field than really we've seen them play all season long. But then the Wolfpack started to settle in, and I thought it was when Westmore went to his bench and got Co-6 Player of the Year, Jada Boyd, in the game. She gave them a different look. I thought Bryant came in and really gave them some energy. Their starters looked a little bit taken back by North Carolina A&T's ability to shoot the ball and also their defense, but the depth of NC State and forcing turnovers and getting second chance points has helped them.
17 points off turnovers so far, and there is almost another one. They need to get a shot over Kunane, and it goes in. Aggies have missed 6 straight. That's one of their most difficult, and it went in.
And it was Sean Kelly Darks, the freshman, who got them going by hitting a tough shot early. I thought that's what relaxed North Carolina A&T. And when they score, they can set up their defense. And that's obviously a very important aspect of what they do, changing to a man-to-man here, coming out of their pressure.
7 minutes without a point.
You see how North Carolina A&T is not giving Brown Turner any space to move, but it doesn't matter. The sophomore gets it to go.
Boy, that's got to be disheartening. They played terrific defense for about 28 seconds, and then Brown Turner scored anyway. Trying to get inside. Kunane thought she got a block, but a foul has been called. NCAA Women's Championship coming up on the ESPN app. The Sweet 16 starts Saturday, followed by the Elite Eight and the Final Four the weekend of April 2nd. Championship caps things off on April 4th at 6 Eastern on ESPN. All games also available on the ESPN app, and this is perhaps the most wide open tournament ever. Let's go big with that. I'll go big with that. You agree with that statement?
Without going to the record books, Pam, I'm just going to say it is very wide open this year. But, you know, when you look at even the way this year's tournament is formatted, it's all neutral courts, right? And so that makes a difference for this North Carolina A&T team, for example, that's not having to go to NC State and play against the #1 seed on their home floor in the first and second rounds. That makes a big difference. And I'm just excited about that aspect of it. I'm excited about the tournament being all in one place and bringing some excitement to Texas, which is the home of great girls basketball at the high school grassroots level, but also obviously a lot of very good college programs as well.
Including the Baylor Bears, who are in action this afternoon, and they are hosting so far in their game. We will have #1 seed Stanford coming up in the Alamo region at 10 Eastern time, and they take on Utah Valley, making their first appearance in the Big Dance. Stanford certainly a team that looks like they are primed to pick up what would be their 3rd championship, but their first one since 1992.
It has been impressive to watch what Stanford has done this year with great depth, great leadership. I mean, they check all the boxes defensively, offensively. There is no shortage of talent or effective play for Tara Vanderveer's team.
Very deep team as well. NC State starting to get things rolling a little bit after somewhat of a shaky start, but credit to the Aggies, who shot 60% in the first half.
Boy, Deja Winters has still not been able to get open. Number 13 in blue is the sharpshooter for North Carolina A&T. She is the reason why they are here after saving them in the MEAC tournament. But you see there, she can't get a clean look. Kai Crutchfield, great defense.
Deja Winters has hit almost 60% of every made 3 for the Aggies have come courtesy of Deja, and she does not have a single point this afternoon.
First team all MEAC selection. 8 20-point games this year.
4 straight games in which she scored at least 15, including hitting the buzzer beater to beat Howard to even get here, winning the MEAC over that team from Washington, D.C. Too much body on Brown Turner. We've seen the Pack attacking the basket more since falling behind as well.
Well, Brown Turner got to that foul trouble in the first half, and she got off to a quick start but wasn't able to continue to be effective. But we're looking at a sophomore who, in my opinion, is one of the best players in the country. I mean, she could have easily been an All-American, but this team is so balanced, you know, that she often doesn't get the credit she deserves, but was first team All-ACC, left-handed, has a mid-range game, can shoot the 3. I know you're laughing because I said left-handed.
What does left-handed have to do with anything?
Well, you know what? The fact that it's tough to guard lefties. Pam, when's the last time you guarded a lefty?
Context.
When is the last time?
It's been decades since I guarded anything.
But see, for basketball people, we already know what it means when you're a lefty. It means you can shoot it, Pam. Get with the program.
put yourself in that category.
Yes, absolutely.
Brown Turner, the lefty, comes up with the rebound.
There you go. Now
Pack.
you're on it.
All right, let's get on board.
Now you're considered basketball savvy.
Another whistle. We're going to take a break with the Pack up 14 in their first game of the tournament. Welcome back. NC State with a 14-point lead over the Aggies. It's a Cunane's team using some balance. Cunane typically in double figures, but you already mentioned this. Boyd coming off the bench, giving them some quality minutes.
Yeah, Wes Moore told us during the season that he recruits for offense. He likes players that can score the basketball, and you see the variety on your screen. And this season, NC State has had 5 players that have had a game of 20 or more. 7 different players have led them in scoring. They're a very unselfish team. They like to pass the ball. They like to share it. And with Raina Perez at that point guard position, transferring in, the facilitator of it all, NC State has had one of the most impressive offenses in the country.
And we invite you to tune in Thursday for the men's NIT quarterfinals. NC State men taking on Colorado State at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships.
And that's something I look forward to this time of the year, is these teams getting to watch their men's team compete as well. You know, especially right now during COVID time, they're spending so much time in their rooms. They can cheer on their men's team, whether that's in the NIT or the NCAA tournament. It's really cool.
NC State on a 24-3 run since they fell behind by 6 in the second quarter.
Where can the Aggies go to get that half-court offense? We mentioned that that's been one of the challenging spots this year, is finding offense in the quarter-court. They would rather get out and run, but they haven't been able to do that with the Wolfpack scoring and then having to take it out of the net every possession.
And 0 fast break points for the Aggies and another bucket for Boyd. Jada Boyd had a meniscus issue earlier in the season, missed a couple of games, including the big win over South Carolina on the road.
And that's
Boyd
really
healthy
good.
now.
NC State hit the map as Shannon Scott knocks down the mid-range shot. But, you know, this is a state team that beat 2 #1 ranked teams this year. And that has only been done 3 times in the last 20 years. And the other 2 teams that accomplished that feat both ended up playing in the national championship game. Now, one won the game and the other did not. Stanford 07-08 was the runner-up, and Maryland 05-06. You should know that one, Weeds, the Terps.
I believe Maryland won the national championship in 2006 in overtime over Duke on a Christy Tolliver shot, if memory serves well.
I don't know about.
And they also beat Louisville on the road. Chi. And the ball goes out of bounds to NC State. Aggies with just 5 points so far in this quarter. They're hitting from the outside early, never really have gotten their transition game. And NC State buoyed by some of their reserves, able to go on this big run.
Yeah, that's one thing you really have to give NC State credit for defensively. I mean, they were giving up some mid-range looks, but it's better than drives to the basket. Speaking of which, the seas parted with no help defense as Rain Perez gets to the rack. But I thought they did a nice job of containing the dribble in the transition offense of the Aggies. Terrell Robinson wanted early shots. NC State did not give them that.
Another whistle, and looks like another foul is coming our way.
Raina Perez is more of a passing point guard since she transferred into NC State rather than a scoring point guard. But right here, just no help as Perez uses a little speed to blow by and get to the rack.
One of the best point guards in the country, 8th in the nation in assist to turnover ratio, leads the ACC in that category, but also able to give them some points. That one rattles in. Last 5 games, Perez just 5 turnovers in China and 24 assists. That's getting it done.
Yeah, she takes very good care of the ball. And you know, when she knew she wanted to transfer and make a move from Cal State Fullerton, she said she didn't even know anything about NC State at all, had never heard of the Wolfpack until she got a voicemail from Wes Moore. And her brother encouraged her to look into it, and she did. And it's turned out great.
And it was perfect timing with Ace Koenig graduating. Shot clock winding down. NC State, after teetering a little bit at the beginning, everything seems to be going their way. Boyd with the knockdown.
Yeah, it has been a lot of Jada Boyd that has helped NC State to turn the corner today.
Luxury of having her come off the bench. And just would not go down. Boy, Deja Winters has had a lot of close calls, but she is still not scored. And this is a young lady from Cleveland who averages 15 points per game, their #1 3-point threat, and she is over.
And we did get an update. I know we talked earlier about Kayla Jones in the 3rd quarter and her not being on the court. Well, Maddie Smith, communications director for women's basketball at NC State, said her status is TBD right now. Brittany, their athletic trainer, is working on her back in the locker room. Not her back, but working on her back in the locker room. And we will let you know when there are any updates.
Wow, so that could be key for them. Brittany Blunt is the athletic trainer for NC State. Maddie Smith, the outstanding sports information director for the Pack. 20-point advantage. Knocked out of bounds by Camille Hobby, who has been backing up Cunane all season long.
Into the game for the Aggies, #1.
He comes in able to give him some nice physicality and some energy off the bench when Elisa sits down.
Yeah, Hobby's played some big moments. Started that game at Virginia Tech. At NC State did end up losing, but she had 19 points and a huge shot to get him to OT. She is
her first career start.
Probably, I would say, their most improved player over the course of this season, no doubt.
Short rebound, easily handled by the Pack, who can hold it for the final shot of the quarter. Aggies with just 7 points in the 3rd quarter. NC State lengthening. It had been a 7-point halftime advantage. Crutchfield calling for it, but a good closeout by Winters, and then a 3-second violation is being signaled that I think it's going to override the foul. 3-second, with a possible foul. There's 3-second violation called first. NC State Wolfpack bottling up the Aggies. 33-7 run now since they trailed by 6. When we come back, the 4th quarter from San Marcos.
Welcome back. The NC State Wolfpack in control over the North Carolina A&T Aggies. And we mentioned Kayla Jones of North Carolina State, one of their key seniors that left the game. We have not seen her since the 2nd quarter. And here she is in the 2nd quarter, goes up to contest. And it looks like had some trouble there, stumbling a little bit out of bounds. May have run into something, but you see her limping at the top of your screen. And this is a member of the first team All-ACC is Jones. We were told by Maddie Smith, their communications director, that she is in the back getting worked on. We have not been told what part of the body or what the issue may be, but you just hate to see Kayla Jones leave the floor in the NCAA tournament like that. She's a big part of what NC State does.
Yeah, I think their best all-around player. Boyd just scored, and now 66 points scored by NC State, the most given up by North Carolina A&T to any opponent all year, and Boyd gets another pair.
Yeah, you can tell now the mentality of the Wolfpack has started to take over this game, and you see how special they can be in the open court in transition when they're forcing turnovers. They got 21 points off of turnovers in this game to North Carolina Aggies and that's a team that likes to force turnovers.
Janet Scott able to hit that bucket for the Aggies, the MEAC champions. Pam Ward and LaChina Robinson joining you in this 116 matchup in the Mercado region. The winner gets the winner of South Florida Washington State, who play later tonight. And congratulations to Washington State. It's been 30 years since they've been in the NCAA tournament.
First team foul.
Good friend Cindy Brunson is definitely excited about her Cougs.
I think that she's probably got the setup of all setups ready to watch that game tonight. And certainly reason to be excited. Pac-12 getting 6 teams in this season. The ACC led everybody with 8.
Not faring well so far with Wake Forest going down. Georgia Tech was in trouble the last time we checked.
Yeah, they're getting doubled up at the half in their game.
Virginia Tech did prevail today. Congratulations to Kenny Brooks getting Liz Kitley and company into the NCAA tournament, and now with a win under their belt.
Yeah, I believe it's the first time since '06 that the Hokies got into the tournament. They would have made it last year. They were having an outstanding season before everything got shut down. Syracuse going to play South Dakota State later tonight. Fear the Jackrabbits. Every year it seems South Dakota State goes out and they get somebody.
I'm telling you, I don't play. South Dakota State, any South Dakota team, you just don't. I mean, they're always very well coached, play hard. Jackrabbits, there'll be a lot of threes shot in that game between the Cuse and South Dakota State. But I'm telling you this, Quinn Hillsman's team has not yet seen their best days. They played well in the ACC tournament despite not having Tiana Mungakahia. But I like that lineup with Emily Anxler starting. I mean, they're big, but they're very mobile and disruptive on the defensive end with all that length.
Nobody longer than Camila Cardozo, their outstanding freshman center. Oh, that was pretty. That was nice work by Scott, the Georgia Tech grad transfer, excuse me.
Shannon Scott wanted to come to North Carolina A&T. Both of her parents are HBCU grads. She already has a job offer at IBM. She's working on 2 degrees and has brought just a winning culture on and off the court with her to the Aggies, and has just had a great season. 4-time MEAC Player of the Week, first-time All-MEAC.
Having an opportunity to further her academic career. And Coach Terrell Robinson told us that when actually it was Shannon's mom who first contacted him, he said he almost blew it because he wasn't sure that she was being serious. That Scott would want to go from a Power 5 to North Carolina A&T, but able to land her, and she has had just a terrific year.
And she's from Charlotte, so she gets to be a little closer to home, and they had the degree that she wanting to specialize a little bit in her studies, and she's been a game changer.
Coming up at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific tonight on ESPN2. The NCAA Women's Championship first round continues. Florida State squares off against Oregon State. And then we just talked about it. The Washington State team taking on South Florida. All games available on the ESPN app. Some good matchups coming up tonight. And this was supposed to happen last year, but no tournament. Every game has an exclusive national window for ESPN on all of our networks, and that's so cool.
Oh, yes.
Just watch whatever game you want, sit down, you got it.
Shout out to ESPN for canceling the whip-around coverage.
Oh.
No more of that. Carol Stiff in particular. We've got games on ABC.
Yep, for the first
Stiff,
time.
our VP of programming and now Hall of Famer. Making big moves for the women's game.
Janet Scott, 21, 6, and 3 for her. And Bobby gets inside. As NC State has extended its lead, Coach Wes Moore has been able to get some quality minutes for his bench players and quality rest for his starters.
Well, I can't say enough about Kai Crutchfield on both ends of the floor. You know, she 4 for 5. She came out and hit a couple threes, which I think relaxed her team. And she played great defense on Deja Winters. I mean, Deja Winters came into the NCAA tournament red hot from the three-point line for North Carolina A&T. And Crutchfield gave her no room to operate. I mean, she was in her grill on the catch, denying when needed, just made Winters extremely uncomfortable.
Winters hit 4 threes, including the game winner with time winding down in the MEAC championships, but Deja today 0 for 7, including missing all 4 of her shots from long range. Conversely, NC State came in ice cold from distance, and they've hit their threes. Crutchfield, there you go. She got another one for you.
Such a difference maker on both ends of the floor, and that's what you want from your seniors, and that's why missing Kayla Jones right now is, I'm sure, in the back of Wes Moore's mind, because they will definitely need her. And she's had a history of injuries throughout her career, finally got healthy, which is why she is playing great basketball. Wagner with that score.
Kayla Jones, when we talked to Coach Moore throughout the season, talked about how she plays in pain a lot, never complains, never wants to sit out of practice or take breaks. But Jones, we haven't seen her since the first quarter, or second quarter, as we take a timeout.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Let's take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance. NC State down 6 in the second quarter, but then this 13-0 run to end it.
The A&T Aggies were the aggressor to start, but here come the Wolfpack. I thought they showed a lot of poise, patience, and their experience started to shine through, in particular behind the play of Kai Crutchfield. They got great contributions and energy off of the bench from Jada Boyd. Jakia Brown-Turner got going early despite some foul trouble. Again, just the depth of this Wolfpack team. And you see the scoring by quarter. North Carolina A&T only 7 points in the third, 7 in the fourth after shooting it at a very high clip to start.
Yeah, 60% from the floor in the first half for the Aggies. They've been outscored by 30 since they took that 6-point lead. And now Hobby gets hammered as she heads into the lane. Coach Moore putting in some more of his reserves. Ellie Sutphin is in, as well, for the Pack.
And something that sets this NC State team apart, in my opinion, during the month of March is just their mental toughness and their poise. You know, Rebecca talked about this at half. There were several games this season where the Wolfpack was down and out in the fourth quarter, and they found a way to come back and win. They're never rattled. I mean, they're a team that you very rarely see them play out of sorts. Even in this game, a North Carolina A&T team that wants to pressure you and turn you over, I thought they showed great poise and found their composure and got back on track.
And then the points just kept on coming for this NC State team. We saw a shot of Lisa Cunane on the bench. She's got 12 points and 5 rebounds. She's gotten a lot of rest. This team will play in a couple of days against either South Florida or Washington State. Hobby just getting inside, rebound taken down by Winters. Foul out on the perimeter. Demica from Toronto committing the foul. NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues today. More second-round games on CBS, TBS, TNT, True TV, or stream games on the March Madness Live app from anywhere. For more information, go to ncaa.com. ESPN Networks have many more women's games coming your way as the day turns into night on this first day of the tournament. Inside, and another foul on the Pack. 9-0 run here, excuse me.
Still more basketball to come. We mentioned that Stanford matchup. South Carolina is going to take on Mercer. Georgia Tech game is still in progress, I believe.
Yep, Tech down 11 in the third quarter.
We look at some of the games that are locked in as Winters gets to the free throw line. You know, Iowa, Kentucky will be interesting, right? Because you've got Caitlin Clark, you've got Ryan Howard. I mean, Ryan Howard in the NCAA tournament coming into today was averaging 27 points per game in the SEC tournament, in NCAA tournament in her career. And we know what Caitlin can do. And then I like Renaya Davis in Tennessee against Naz Hillman. You know, Naz doesn't get the credit she deserves. And you and I called a Michigan game earlier this year, and to be undersized in the post and dominate the way she does on the glass, shooting it at a high percentage, like, there's just not very many players like her in the nation.
Count that bucket for Sean Kelly Darks, the freshman. Yeah, Naz Hillman put up a cool 50 points in one game during the regular season, a game they actually lost.
Sean Kelly Darks going right to the rim. What she does, stays aggressive. She's done a nice job as a point guard in her first season, having to take the reins. MEAC all-rookie team, two-time MEAC Player of the Week. 7 assists and only 2 turnovers in the MEAC tournament in the entire event. Not bad for a freshman.
Yeah, Coach Robinson said that Sean Kelly had some Ivy League opportunities, wants to be a doctor, came to North Carolina A&T, which is actually the largest of the historically black colleges and universities, but they're not going to be in the MEAC for long.
Yeah, making a move to the Big South. And we talked to Coach Robinson about that, and you know, he said he's looking forward to a new challenge. I can't believe with all the success he's had, he's never been Coach of the Year in the MEAC conference. That just blows my mind. But you know, said he's looking forward to the change, but it's definitely going to feel weird to have them gone. I believe Hampton made that move. You know, but this is still a very strong conference when you think about Bethune-Cookman, who did not participate this year. Vanessa Blair-Lewis has done a great job there. Obviously, Ty Grace at Howard is an outstanding coach. So still a lot of talent in the MEAC, great players. Jayla Thornton, one of them for Howard. MEAC teams did not participate this year. Again, mentioning Bethune-Cookman being one of them because of COVID concerns. And you hate to see it, but hopefully things kind of get back on track for next year.
Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M, and UMES all opted out early. South Carolina State ended the season once they got started. Those first 3 teams we mentioned did not play at all. So very unusual season, as you see, just 16 games played by the Aggies, but a terrific job by Terrell Robinson in his 9th year, and North Carolina A&T graduate himself, making them regulars in the NCAA tournament. And they have another challenge ahead as they join the Big South. And we're talking about opting out, and Coach Robinson will do things for motivation. He'll mess with his lineup a bit, but this is what he said. After 2 pauses, I threatened to opt out. That's all his players needed to hear. He said the protocols tightened up very quickly. Everybody got on board, and the season rolled on.
You know, you didn't hear a lot about that aspect of COVID this year. You know, coaches were very good about kind of saying, you know, hey, we're just dealing with things like everyone else, and, you know, trying to do the best we can. Well, Coach Robinson called his players out. He's like, they weren't controlling the controllables when it came to COVID. So he said, look, guys, if you don't want to play this season because you keep violating the COVID rules, I'll just cut the season. And things change rather rapidly, but that's something that Coach Robinson does. He likes to motivate his team by changing the lineups. He'll sit a player too. I mean, he sat Jayla Jones back. And, you know, I mean, sometimes you got to find that right button to push.
Only 2 players, Scott and Sean Kelly Darks, the freshman point guard. They're the only 2 who started every game this year for the Aggies. Came out, played well at the beginning. Winters just couldn't get her shot going. Terrific defense by the Pack. NC State, the number 1 seed in the Mercado region, where Texas A&M is number 2. A&M looked like they were in good position to get a 1, but stubbed their toe a little bit, left the SEC tournament in the semis. This could be fun.
It's going to be very, very fun. And you know what about Texas A&M? Is Gary Blair didn't want that 1 seed, okay? You know, for a moment I said, Coach Blair may be upset that A&M didn't get the 1 seed. You know, NC State got a 1, but he told us loud and clear, it's been 10 years since the Aggies won the NCAA championship, and they were a 2 seed. And it was everyone doubting them and under the radar. All of that played into their mentality, so I can't wait to see what Texas A&M has. But Coach Blair, he's fine. He's not upset at all about the 2 seed.
Yeah, he kind of likes flying under the radar a little bit. Another bucket for Scott. And it's Scott with her 3rd 20-point game of the season, and she has just tied her season high with 23 points. Texas A&M, by the way, starts off against Troy. If they beat them, they'll play the winner of Iowa State, Michigan State. They are in the NC State region, which is the Mercado region. Mercado meaning market in Spanish.
And I apologize, Pam. Actually, Bethune-Cookman will be headed to the SWAT conference, so they will be leaving the MEAC as well.
A lot of shakeup, huh?
A lot of shakeups happening. You know, teams on the move.
NC State is on the move to the 2nd round, but not until they had a little bit of a challenge. Down 6 in the 2nd quarter, and then they went on a huge run. A&T held to 21 points in the 2nd half. They were shooting 60% at the half. The Aggies finished only 43% from the floor. 4 Wolfpack players in double figures, and State gonna go watch ESPN2 later to see whether they will play either South Florida or Washington State. Lisa Cunane and her team winning for Coach Wes Moore, the ACC Coach of the Year. And we are now joined by Coach Moore down on the floor in San Marcos. Coach, first off, congratulations. How do you explain the falling behind as you did, down 6 in that 2nd quarter?
Well, you got to give North Carolina A&T a lot of credit. They knocked down some shots. You know, we were trying to contain them because they're so athletic, but they were knocking down some jump shots. And, you know, I feel like we got to have more urgency and all. We've been sitting around for 2 weeks now, and we got to find our mojo, so to speak, and get some energy and urgency on the defensive end of the floor. So we got a lot of things we need to improve in 2 days.
Well, Coach, you had a little bit of adversity. I know Jakia Brown-Turner got in early foul trouble, but Jada Boyd came into the game and was a difference maker. Genesis Bryant gave you some good energy off the pine. What ultimately helped you to change the momentum in this game?
Well, I just think we got some stops. You know, I mean, they had 37 points in the 1st half, and our goal is to try to hold teams to 30. So, obviously, we didn't do a real good job on defensive end. But you're right. I thought Genesis Bryant, you know, she's been practicing. We had 2 weeks there in between. I thought she had two great weeks of practice, and definitely wanted to get her out there. And then with Jakia and foul trouble and some other things going on, it allowed us an opportunity to get her in. And I thought she did a magnificent job.
You mentioned some other things going on. Obviously, the absence of Kayla Jones on the court. We know she was taken to the back with some kind of injury. Can you give us an update?
I really don't know much, you know. They just told me she wouldn't be able to go in the 2nd half. So hopefully we'll get her back by Tuesday, but I'm not sure where we are with it right now.
All right, Coach Wes Moore, thank you very much and congratulations, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
All right, thanks so much.
All right, take care now. The Pack with a 79-58 win over North Carolina A&T. Coming up next, Mercer taking on the number 1 seed, South Carolina, and the Hemisphere region. For LaChina Robinson, our entire crew down in Texas. Great job, everyone. Time to get you back to the studio after a Wolfpack win.